Good morning, ladies. Thank you very much for patience and for attending the press briefing. This press briefing is a collaboration between the Federation of Mining Host Communities and the civil society partners, and it is to enlighten the media and it is to enlighten the media on recent developments at the National Assembly on proposed amendments to the Mineral Part of this, we're waiting for the chair of the mining committee of the House of Representatives. He is on his way. I said earlier, to attend another meeting. But to start us off, I think it's very important that the instructions made. We also have members of the community and CSO partners across the country who are also joining us online. Physically make this meeting because of associated costs. And although we'll start, I'll first of all hand over to the chair of the Federation of everyone will also introduce themselves. And because we cannot all sit at the table, a few other people will also introduce themselves.
Thank you very much. My name is Habibu Abubakar Shishi. I'm the National Co-Chair Federation of Nigerian Mining Host Communities.
My name is Josephine Alabi, Executive Director of Finagri.
Good morning. Rex Ijubo is my name. Sorry, Initiative for Peace, Justice and Development, and a member of the National Mining Host Community. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Omojo Ogedo. I'm the Acting Executive Director for Ziva Community Initiative, and also a member of the Federation of.
Good morning, everyone. This is Chairman Miners Association of Nigeria, State Capital, and the Coordinator of Federation of Mining Host Communities.
Good morning, all. My name is Joe Kubaka. I'm a community leader from Takwa. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nathan Williams. I watch for Classic.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mary Data. I report for Freedom Fund.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Paul. Watch for Global Service.
Good morning. So we support is my name, Daily Trust. My name is Kenny Konari. I will represent the Watch speaker.
Again, to give background to why we're here today. All right, sir. I have the permission of the honorable speaker. But I was, just before you came in, sir, I was speaking about the essential foundations that were already laid in section 17 to B and C, and section 17 to C of the Constitution that says that the primary purpose of government is to ensure the welfare and security of all the right of citizens to participate in the government, and also in 17 to C that says that the exploitation of any resource in a community should be for the benefit of the community, and that these are the things that the Federation of Nigerian Mining Communities and its partners are relying on in making recommendations to the amendment. This was presented at the recent public hearings where you were also chair. And this press conference, as I've explained to everyone, is to ensure that our voices are heard and that our requests are amplified as well this process. So I'm going to, if you want to make a statement, sir, before
me thank you for the yes, I thank you for the invitation. And I guess just as you said, though I thought your ending part of your remarks, but just as it's cup of rice, the bottom of the pot will always be stretched part. I guess coming day has advantages. All the same, when you're just one communication. Just as you said in your remarks, and I guess that's why I don't think I should be there when you're reading your press statement. But be it as it may, yes, appreciate the fact that you made submissions and you're standing for the interest of the whole communities. Secondly, in this bill, which by God's special grace will be able to get past second reading, and you, the entire Nigerian people, according to the rights in the Constitution, were all invited and made that. I know what should be of most importance to this federation, this gathering, is what concerns the host community. For just sake of emphasis, let me make some basic comparisons that I guess informed the position that the bill has taken. And not considering the state it has reached, it's not my bill, the bill of the Nigerian people, being unanimously endorsed by the House of Representatives. And it shocked you to know that it was co-sponsored by the House leader. Having said this, in the recent past, host communities have actually enjoyed a good pride of place in developmental strides in Nigeria. The most celebrated achievement of the host communities, which in my opinion more is desired, is the Petroleum Industry Act. And right from the 8th Assembly, I've always played a critical role with regards to that particular bill. For some funny reason, I've always been part of the ad hoc committee that worked on that. So many proposals were made, and of course, yes, you must think of the interest of financial consideration. But at the end of the day, the host community was able to get 3%. Now ask yourself a question. If that 3% had been gotten right from the time that we started drilling oil, what do you think would have been the lot of the host community? They would not have been suffering kind of degraded infrastructure. In some cases, totally absent government presence in their various locations. They will not be going through the suffering environmental issue that we have right now. There would have been enough money to have developed this area. So one of the wisest statements I've had is to say experience is the best, but learning from the experience of others is the best. In fact, a better teacher is even better than the best. So we're trying to get it right. In my opinion, are we on time? Not at all. We're very late. We look at the just concluded, or rather the most recent power reform amendment that was done, the act. And in this case, 5% from the GENCOs are given to the host communities where the powers are being wielded on. Once again, another victory for the host community. This government is actually putting the interest of host communities first, and I must appreciate the stride of His Excellency Alhaji Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Now, What we're asking for is nothing out of the ordinary of the host communities deserve to enjoy the God-given gifts God has given them. We should not take advantage of their ignorance. We should not take advantage of their poverty. We should not take advantage of their hospitality. And as a people, and having been elected, our first responsibility is all people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And as a committee, we believe, considering the informal nature of the activities in the mining sector, that 5% of whatever is gotten should be given to the host community. It will not be given to the host communities in kind, but the idea is that every host community sets up a structure where, such like a fund, where this money will be deposited, and a comprehensive development plan will be made for that community, so that when these funds are gotten, they are deployed. Unlike the defined provision we have in the Act today, it will actually tear your heart when you look at what constitutes a community development agreement today, and you see that the host community actually have the short end of the stick. Other countries, just to be Ghana, Ghana's cases, they are much more formalized, so their percentage is much lower. Why? Because you can actually track, unlike in Nigeria where it's not formalized, and that's why we started off at 5%. What we do now, I want to show you is in the best interest of Nigeria. And just as I said, it's not good for Nigeria. And of course, I want to take my lead before you give your press statement, because your press statement is conveying your position, which you have already done via your submission to the House of the People. But I want to assure you that I will get a representation from this federation to make sure you're on the technical committee that will be putting the final copy together so that your position can be well captured. On this note, let me really thank you for your patriotism. None of you need to do what you're doing, because none of you are in deep bushes. Yes, you might be from one of these host communities, but you have the comfort of this hotel. But you are actually empathizing, you are feeling the pain of our brothers and sisters out there in the bushes that have carrying on the agrarian style of life, or some people are coming in to actually alter their way of living. I believe this is the least we can do for them. And the Almighty God will bless and reward each and every one of you. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
We just crave your indulgence and build. The media would like to build questions. Do you have a question? I think we wanted the statement. Does anyone have questions? There's a question.
You mentioned 3% and 5% to host community. Please, which of the percentage are they given to? Is being able to give to host community?
is being applied to the PIA. The PIA is Petroleum Industry Act. 3% is being applied. It's already passed into law, it's operational for the PIA, 3%. While 5% is operational, has been passed into law for the Power Reform Act, that is gotten from the GENCO. We are proposing, still a proposal, it has not been passed into law by Mr. President, it hasn't been accepted to by Mr. President, or it has not even been, we haven't gotten concurrence yet from the Senate. But we are proposing 5% of whatever is gotten for the host. Are you clear, madam? Okay.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ayo Wu from the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISFA. I'm representing our Executive Director, Awar Rasfajani. Good morning, panelists. I want to ask for the PIA and also some of the mining acts. Some of this community, especially in Taraba last week, and we saw that some of these places that have been mined, they are death trap to the communities because they're supposed to be filled to at least 80%. Is that act part of what we cover them so that they will not just come drill all the mineral resources and leave those pits without being covered? What are we going to do about that?
Very interesting question. That's why the act equally are advocating, don't know whether that's the right choice of word. In the act, you have a section that deals with environmental remediation. How effective has this been? Of course, is yet to be desired. Not only Taraba, go to Plateau State. All those large craters you see that sit like dams and water, actually mining pits that were deserted. So these are equally things we're looking at, and that's why you see we are proposing to have a mines inspectorate and environmental agency within the ministry. So that even as you have the ministry, of Environment, you equally have an in-house ministry. You have an in-house agency that is more put on the ground to make sure that environmental issues are captured. And we could even adopt the Ghana model as well, where before you mine, a bond is placed on ground to make sure that when you're done, even if you go away, that bond will be drawn upon the field. The law as it is, the 2007 Act that were repealed, to repeal, actually has provision, relevant sections. There is a fund called the Environmental Remediation Fund that is supposed to be paid, money is to be paid into. That is another big question. Have the miners been actually adhering to this? But don't forget that one of the greatest problems we equally have in the mining space today in Nigeria is that most of the mining activities are actually at the artisanal level. They are not major mining companies. You know, so this has equally, and of course, you have junior miners. We don't have any major mining company. So this actually has its own effects. Being not able to adhere to the law or making them do that, which is necessary. But I'm hoping that with this new law and actually having that agency, you will have better monitoring. I ask you a question. With over 2,000 mines, mineral exploration, over 2,000 licenses and uncountable number of artisanal miners, how do you police these people with only about 37 staff? Because in every state, we only have one minerals inspection officer. How? It's not possible. And this is a space that is based on self-accounting. The closest example to this is the FIRS. FIRS have 276 offices spread over the length and breadth of Nigeria. FIRS have over 3,000 staff. And everybody knows how well the FIRS is doing. But once upon a time, it wasn't like this. Till a particular chief executive came and took this initiative. And I believe the time has come for the mining sector. And how will this agency be funded? Very simple. Just like the UBED structure, where a percentage is taken away for project monitoring and other things. We propose that 20% of whatever revenue they are able to get in by way of royalties, because of more monitoring and activities, should be set aside for the agency. This is apart from their remuneration. Don't forget, they have to be entitled to other allowances because of the kind of terrain they'll be working in. While you are enjoying in Rockview, they will be in some remote bushes, probably not even having access to proper drinking water. So you'll have to be well motivated. And that's why we're proposing for project monitoring, a 20% fully strengthening the financial base of that agency. And I can assure you, with proper motivation, there's nothing to not be able to achieve. Thank you very much.
So we have a question online. Tika says, why 5% when communities can get more? How many percent goes to the coffers of the federal government, state government, etc.?
Don't forget that mining is a very expensive venture, very capital intensive, number one. Number two, a lot is put in to actually getting out these products. So taking 5%, and 5%, believe me, is quite much. It's very easy to say 5%, but imagine 5% of 1 trillion. And one mine can give you 1 trillion in a year. It's a lot of money. You know, so you must equally take into cognizance the expense to a miner. He's a businessman. And I always have this saying, better to have 5% of 100% than to have 100% of nothing. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. And please, I want to encourage you to keep up such engagements. Keep up this kind of engagements. I believe at the end of the day, definitely there's something worthwhile for the board.
Thank you very much, sir. Again, thank you for hosting the public hearing. Made our stance known at the public hearing. We're making it known to the media. And as you said, sir, you really don't have to here with us to do that. Thank you also for building question. The communities will also be sending more questions as we navigate this process. We again reiterate our commitment to ensuring the protection of the rights of vendors. We're thankful that you're mindful of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm planning to take a bow.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we will now first statements on this matter.
Thank you so very much, and good morning all. Yeah, we met our solution actually last week, Thursday, at the National Assembly during the public hearing. But because we want to be at the vote, is the reason why we decided to host this press conference. So I'll go straight on to read our statement. The Federation of Nigerian Mining Host Communities and its civil partners applaud recent attempts at the National Assembly, particularly the effort of the House Committee on Solid Minerals to amend the Minerals and Mining Act of 2007 in an attempt to strengthen the legal and policy frameworks to ensure the equitable distribution of benefit derived from this sector. Previous to the current Minerals and Mining Repeal and Enactment Bill 2023, we had on numerous occasions advocated for the Act to be amended, particularly to reflect the intent of Section 72, subsection 2D of the Nigerian Constitution, which provides that the exploitation of human or natural resources in any form, whatsoever for reasons other than the good of the community, shall be prevented, and Section 142, subsection 2B and C of the Constitution, which states that the security and welfare of the people shall be primary purpose of government, and that the participation by the people in their government shall be ensured in accordance with the provision of this Constitution. In the light of these constitutional provisions, at the public hearing, we and our civil society partners advocated for the following amendments and are holding this press conference to reiterate our stand. These are as follows. 1. The security and welfare of mining host communities are critical and must be reflected throughout the amended Minerals and Mining Act. In particular, we call for the expansion of environmental impact assessment to environmental and social impact assessments. In addition to this, we propose that the bill make a provision that compels external and licensed operators to conduct and publish bi-yearly impact reports of their mining activities as a requirement for their continued mining operations, with clear penalties for defaults. 3. Inclusion of civil society organizations and mining host communities at REMCOs. The proposed Section 9, which seeks to amend Section 19 of the Principal Act, should be amended to include a rotation of representatives of civil society organizations and mining host communities as members of the Mineral Resources and Environmental Management Committee, the REMCO. This inclusion will foster greater transparency, accountability, and community participation in the decision-making process. In addition to having a representative of affected mining host communities and CSOs, at each sitting where issues that impact their communities are discussed as active participants in the process. 4. Chairman of and acknowledgement of state autonomy. We recommended the proposed amendment to Section 19, subsection 2 of the Principal Act, which gives the chairman of the REMCO to State Commissioner of Solid Minerals, and the autonomy granted to state governments in the REMCO is commendable, as it enables tailored approaches to address regional challenges and priorities within the mining sector. However, the problem of the funding of state REMCOs still exists and was not properly addressed in proposed amendment. We therefore recommend that funding of the state REMCOs should be housed in the Central Bank of Nigeria, which is an independent of the state and federal arm of government. 5. Clarity and specificity on the definition of term community. We also advocate that this term to be inclusive of affected communities. Clarity and specificity of the term community development associations. The proposed Section 33, which is to amend Section 116 of the Principal Act, should be amended to recognize that not all communities have an organized existing community development association. As such association as stated in this subsection must be verified and approved by the state, with executive members elected by members of their communities, to be regarded as legitimate stakeholders in the mining sector and authorized to receive the 5% derivative from mining. This measure will ensure that there is a standard set for this association and to curb the issues of multiple associations claiming the right to receive a 5% derivative. Also, the law needs more clarity on what the Community Development Association is composed of and what they will do with the funds, the formula for utilizing the fund, and ensuring transparency. Also, determining the leadership of the community with the authority to sign a CDA is another consideration that must be had. State government should ensure that host communities are active participants in the environmental and social assessment process and are equipped with access to the service of a lawyer, an environmental impact expert, and a non-profit organization able to advise them and vet agreements to ensure they are free, prior, and informed consent before agreements are entered into. Furthermore, wide consultation with all segments of the community must also be reflected as having agreed to terms of the CDA before it is entered and signed. 7. Community Development Agreement, CDAs, do not presently reflect environmental and social impact assessment or their recommendations. Free, prior, informed consent must also be sought with the full import of EIA explained to the community before they agree on the terms of the CDA. 8. Regulation of artisanal and small-scale mining. We commend the inclusion of specific provisions aimed at regulating the artisanal and small-scale mining sector. More than 80% of the solid mineral in Nigeria is artisanal in nature. Effective regulation is essential to promoting responsible mining practices and safeguarding the environment and the rights of mining host communities. We therefore recommend the development of artisanal mining regulations code in this regard. 9. Separation of regulatory and administrative function of the ministry. The Ministry of Solid Mineral Development is currently saddled with the responsibility of regulation and administration. We therefore recommend that these roles be separated, with the ministry solely responsible for the administrative function under the Mineral and Mining Act, while the regulatory function be moved to a unit created at the Federal Ministry of Environment. 10. Graduation for mining host communities. We recommend the inclusion of the provision of a 5% for mining host communities, separate from the 13% allocation to the state, recognizing their integral role in mineral resource extraction and the need for equitable benefits sharing. 11. Inclusivity in board and committee composition. We recommend that the bill make deliberate provision for gender, youth, and persons with disability in the constitution of all boards and committees established under the Act. This will ensure diverse perspective and representation, contributing to more balanced decision-making process. 12. Completing of social and environmental impact assessment before issuance of licenses. We recommend that the proposed bill amend relevant sections of the Principal Act to ensure exploration title holders fully complete environmental impact assessment before mining licenses are granted. In conclusion, the Federation of Nigerian Mining Host Communities and its civil society partners commend the effort of the National Assembly to introduce legal reforms aimed at ensuring equitable governance of the solid mineral sector. We insist that the proposed amendment to the Act must better serve the interests of the stakeholders, particularly mining host communities, promote sustainable development in the mining sector, and contribute to the socio-economic advancement of the nation. This statement is signed by the members of the Federation, all chapters of the Federation of Nigerian Mining Host Communities in Nigeria, the Global Right, which of course is our secretariat, Ziva Community Initiative, Florida Initiative for Peace, Justice and Development, Neighborhood Environmental Watch, Sensex Zamfara State, Friends of the Trees, King and Care Initiative, PADEF, New Gen and Soul Development Initiative, and Emerging Gender Growth. Gentlemen, that is the stand we presented to the National Assembly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Would you have questions now for the Federation?
Once again, my name is Rutan and I write for the chair. So, Mr. Chairman, you have raised you said the 5% come from the 30%. I would like to know the 13% that was given in the past. Did it have any effect on those communities? That is one. Number two, the 5%. I mean, if you had 13% coming to the states, I don't know how that impacted your community. This 5%, is it going to be, you answer it, the domicile in the CBN? I'd like to understand how you manage this 5%.
During the presentation, you must have heard me talking about associations, community development associations, and the 5% is to be handed over to the community development association. And these are the reasons why we are saying even the association should be specified. The government or the state government in this state must know who the associations are, and they must have a democratic election where they bring out their leaders. By so doing, there will be transparency and, of course, development in the host communities will take place. The 13% you talked of, I don't know what state, but for my state, Niger, 13% do not have any impact for the host communities because it hardly goes to host communities. Thank you.
Okay. Just to write upon what you have said, you may also know that most of these development associations, before they are registered in the states, there's usually a very formal system that you don't just run the development association without going to the ministry, the relevant ministry to apply. So there's a whole system that goes into the recognition of these associations. So since you already have a system that is in play, why not lean on the people in the various states to be able to say, these are the people that we know that are operational, that are legal. That is to safeguard or to make sure that people do not just usurp that place or that power for their selfish needs. These people are recognized by the state and to be registered. Thank you.
The new bill is recommending commissions in the state. Now, these commissions, like they've said, will have in part the development associations within their membership. And of course, that this is to ensure that the priorities of the communities are known to this commission and they're able to track how the funding is. And the 13% derivation goes to the state. And it also recommends a further breakdown to local government area. So far, of the 13%, it was only recent in Nigeria that the 13% derivation started. So far, not a single state given an accounting of how they utilize the 13%. For working on the ground and working with the communities, Mr. Tushi has spoken about Niger State. We're not seeing the effect in Niger State. We've not seen the effect in a single community, whether in the north or south of Nigeria, from the 13%.
I move from system. I've been hearing just government, 5%, 13%. What about the mining industry? I believe they have a role to play in this community. At least Last week, we worked 5 hours on a rock with the Brigadier General serving as the state IRS chairman to get to that. And getting there, the end of that community, the wife was pregnant, and she happens to come under labor. But the condition supersedes the midwife experience there. Before they could get her to the rock, to get to the utility vehicle, she passed out, she passed away. So what I'm saying is that if you're not there, you will not feel this pain. Those mining community, we got information that they just pay some amount of money. I think we should deep dive into what they should do, what they should be true, like providing primary health care for this community, providing ability to benefit for. I don't want us to leave 13%. You'll be shocked with the amount of money and the amount of mineral resources that these people are mining out of this country. There's no even data. So I think we should add this to what we are advocating for. Thank you.
Your name again, sir?
Ayo Mo from Sisla.
Ayo
M-O-U. Thank you.
All right, I said that premise first on the constitutional provision that the primary duty of government, not of companies, but of government, to ensure the welfare of all citizens, and that minerals should not be exploited of the people and of the community. Look at the history of our country. We started off as a country. The Royal Niger Company, which is UAC today, is a true history of our country that we were sold. We will not continue to allow the corporates to rule our country. Several years ago, working in the Niger Delta, I saw the first-hand impact of how Shell became God, government, Lord in the entire region. And you come from that, and you know what I'm talking about. Once you sell a country to corporates, you will never have a nation, because then the rectitude comes in and state capture will be the order of the day, which results in the type of violence and the type of deprivation that we have in our country. So we will not ask the mining companies to do the work of government. We're asking government to regulate them, ensure they get those monies from them, and ensure that this money trickles to the base, to the mining host communities. Now, just one more thing on that. Every 10 minutes in this country, a woman is dying from childbirth-related complications. We have been in this hole for 2 hours. Take a pause for every single woman that has died in this country. Every 10 minutes from childbirth-related complications. In 2 hours, 12 women across this country have died. While that might not be the theme of this conference, of this press briefing, let us remember that the duty of government is to ensure the welfare and the security of these women who continue to die. Their numbers are too atrocious. And let us repeat again that those communities are rich, these women have no business to die.
Thank you very much for that. If you look at one of the points that we are raising, that we raised in the first statement, is the state's inclusion, is the inclusion of CSO in Mirenco. Mirenco means Mineral Resource Environmental Management Committee. Now, in that committee, if it's not properly managed, because their role is to solve dispute, issues around mining in the state. Now, if an operator and the host community have issues, Mirenco comes in, the chairman and his team comes in. Now, there's something we call community development. If in that community, one of their main needs is primary health care center, and they know they don't have one close by, they have to travel 12 hours before they can access. Now, both the government, if the government is not doing it, and if the operator have the capacity to do it, if that is their need, a primary need based on priorities, they should do one for them. And if it goes into the CD and is signed by both, so that means they're saddled with the responsibility of providing a healthcare center. Okay. Now, if that is not done, that is where we are saying most of the states, that Taraba state you're talking about, no working Mirenco. So nobody pushed for the establishment of Mirenco in Taraba state for more than 5 years. Dauros, the former governor, came and left for 8 years just to sign, just to commission, bring all the parties. The act has made provision for it, for a escape payment. In that state that you're talking about, at the moment there are no mining activities. It's not no mining activity. The governor has suspended mining because he wants to structure the mining sector in the state. So there are so many issues that will lead to such mortalities if proper framework, proper governance of the sector is not put in place. And that is why we are saying yes. We need proper monitoring, proper evaluation of the sector, including CSO run.
Any further questions? Yes, sir. Mr. Nick.
The Honorable has spoken last night. Talking about the bill which will be covered. I was looking at the situation. I wanted to ask things. I thought it would be somehow how speedy that actually will pass, because it is a source of concern for host communities. Lots of them are frontiers that so many of us may not understand, especially except for you, you are a pilot. And I wish to find out, by the time this bill becomes an act, how well are you working towards ensuring that federal government, the state government, and then the community rulers keep into this? Because we find out that many of them, maybe few who are educated, others who are not, do not know, they're not learned. How do you transcribe information to them for them to understand that this is what they are signing, so that they are not deceived into signing what they are not supposed to? And if the bill comes to reality, how are they going to work along with the federal, the state government, knowing fully well that they are the ones at the grassroots? Will the state government give an information or pass an information? This is what the House of Representatives has passed. This is how it should be now. Or they will just go solo on their own and carry out whatever actions they want to carry out. And it becomes business as usual. So what steps is the civil society organization to ensure that by the time it is passed, because it has to start now, not when it is passed and then they will tell you, we never had an idea of this. So what steps are they taking now to ensure that they work in consonance with the state government to ensure that some handicap things are not put when that happens?
Thank you so very much for that question. And you see, the Federation is a citizen-led initiative, and we have civil society organizations working with us. And the structure of the Federation commences from the national. We have regional leaders, we have state coordinators, and we have officials at the grassroots who constantly educate and enlighten our people on everything that we do. We usually have our endeavor every year here in Abuja. I think we have had about 3 or 4 endeavors where we share experiences with other sister African countries and, of course, within the country. And by the time we go back, we also take out this information. So what we are doing now does not just stay here. It goes down the drain. We go back, we educate our people so that they will know what we are doing, and by the time the bill is passed, I'm assuring you that they will be better enlightened before then. And above all, you can see us pushing for the REMCO to be properly funded and of course formalized. And we're able to push it that the Federation and the CSOs should be included in the REMCO. We're doing this so that by the time the bill is passed, we'll be able to properly look at the bill and how it works and how it's impacting with the people. I'm sure I've answered your question. Then what do you want? Question?
Other questions? Comments?
Make a clarity for them as to the timing. Nobody knows the timing.
Oh, the timing, oh, yes.
Because
So
there has to be harmonization.
yes.
President absent and all of
Yes.
that. To be the next thing is.
Now, what is more, what is, now here's the complexity, sorry. Thank you. Now here's the complexity about the bills. There are about 4 bills on mining currently in the National Assembly. One of the bills that is about to be proposed, and you'll be hearing from us as well, because it's going to a back and forth process between the National Assembly and the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development. It's also an amendment being proposed by the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development. There is the proposal of a bill on a Host Communities Commission as well. And then there's another bill I need to remember to sponsor that bill. So there are about 4 separate bills. Just like Ms. Tanner has said, you go through, first of all of these public readings. And these are the opportunities where we get to plug in what we've always advocated to the ministry and to the National Assembly. We've been advocating to them for about 10 years about the same reforms. Now they're going to take all of those bills and try to harmonize them. There will be a lot of Glasgow agreements and disagreements in this regard. Then a final bill will then be presented. Our prayer is that this happens before the end of this administration, of this assembly. Otherwise, we need to start all over again, which is also why you find that the Federation is particularly pushing, because we need this to move fast. And this is also an appeal then to the presidents to also work with us to push this, because we believe that the president also there cares for the mining host communities, rather than that is his constitutional duty to care and to push for that. And we hope that, of course, our friends in the media for us as well.
Sorry.
Oh yes, Mr.
Thank you. Morning.
Good to see you again.
Thank you. Happy New Year. My name is Gabriel Lewick. It's bothering my heart in terms of insecurity in mining communities. And the bandits and all the terrorists and sponsors, they are taking advantage of the weakness of communities in terms of lack of security. And the Minister of Mines and Solid Minerals said, well, they're mining shafts. I don't know how operational are they in your community. Are they providing security just only for mines? Or they are working hand in hand with police and vigilantes? I don't know whether that is part of your proposal in the new mining act we're expecting. And I want to also ask, are your locals really illegal miners? Your members, your community members, are they also,
illegal,
because they are labeled as illegal miners?
Thank you very much. Let me start with this. When you talk about the mining marshals, I've never seen one single mining marshal. I've never seen any one. Never. I've never seen any for the mining marshal. Never said or any other state. I've been hearing about them. I've never seen any one of them. And you talk about security. We're going to talk about security in mining communities. We're going to spend the whole day here talking about it. This is because The insecurity that is even happening in most of the states now, especially the North Central. It's no longer about kidnapping, party rustling, and all that. Now about complete displacement of communities. They displace them entirely so that the mining can take place in such communities. So by implication, what I'm telling you is that the marshals are not working. That is, if the marshals actually exist, they are not working. Because if they are working, the insecurity will be maybe a thing of the past. I think I've answered that question. The host communities being illegal miners, I will not argue with you about that. I will tell you very well that you are right. You are right because the artisanal miners that move from one place to another are actually invited by the host communities. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because the minerals that are seen at a particular place actually start from the host communities. And by the time the information goes out, they comes in. And that is why this federation was actually formed about 3-4 years ago, so that we can now begin to sensitize, inform, educate, and enlighten our people on all these abnormalities for them to stop it. Otherwise, this insecurity will continue. Where you have people coming from various places and staying in a place, they are mostly insecurity, another form of social violence. That's what I have to say to you. I don't know if any of my members say something.
Back to that, one of the reasons, as you know, those living with these individuals or having regular interactions, we have come to one conclusion. We cannot wish away that it's not violence at this point, because what I would like to know is people get their life. One of the things we are suggesting is that there is a need for a codification of the ways and means that they can still operate under this particular framework, which is the law framework that is worth in such a way that it is still standardized, and in such a way that it does not hurt the community or the livelihood and living of this community. This can be done. We can accommodate each other around it. Thank you.
Sorry, illegality in mining from exploration, mining license, artisanal miners, and small scale mining. Illegality is not just on artisanal miners. And more so that for now, I don't think there's any illegal miners who only have artisanal miners. What all states are supposed to do is to bring them together into cooperative. It is there in the mining law. They are allowed to register as a cooperative, 10 of them in a group, then they can go in and start mining. So in this situation, the host community are now supposed to bring all the miners together, or all the artisanal miners together into cooperative. Like yesterday, I was in PSS office in my state. They called me because there are inflow of people that's right on where they are mining apartment, over 3,000 persons. So I was asked now as the chairman of miners to go there and at least do a central registration for all the 2,000 people, 10 each group, and make sure that each and every one of them has a name registration in the form. If you don't have name registration, we'll bring the new dual registration for you. So at least if all states go do that, then we're incorporating them, handing it over to the government. Thank you.
Thank you. On the questions of the mining mass, first thing is that first, we don't have enough of them. United States, for example, is 1/10 the size of Nigeria. 4 mining marshals throughout 1/10 the size of Nigeria. It's absolutely ridiculous. I wish that you had also been at our meeting 2 weeks ago, where our colleagues from Osun State and a journalist I was working with them spoke about how mining marshals were guarding Chinese miners rather than the communities or the mining sites, and almost shot them. So the question is, who are the marshals working with? Well, the ministry sends them out to work to ensure that they protect the minerals and the communities in which they found. that sometimes their duties are then diverted to do something else that we must be very careful about. Now, as to the illegality of community, of people, of members of community mining, first, that the Act allows community members to mine, and it also states the type of minerals that they can mine and within what quantity of minerals that they can mine. That communities can mine is not in question. The question is, are they being regulated? So while you call them illegal, and there are illegal miners in Nigeria, that people from diverse countries that are roaming all over Nigeria, the Chinese, in every part, that are illegally mining, they're even illegally in the country. There are those who have licenses that are illegally going beyond the boundaries of their licenses. But the larger proportion of people are simply not being regulated. The ministry is grossly underfunded. They cannot afford the parameters of regulation. The ministry is also busy looking for investments, and their thirst for investment outweighs their thirst for regulation. One of the things that the Federation has asked for is that we also separate that power from the ministry. We're going to do administrative work, do administrative work. We're going to do regulation work, do regulation work. But also remember that 80% of mining is artisanal. Are they regulating artisanal mining? Do we have enough laws to regulate artisanal mining, which also the state has used? Follow question. Yes, Mr. Oka.
Thank you. This is Paul Oka from Bloomberg. Still on the issue of what is the way forward since we don't have enough of those that are supposed to protect the nation that is it a four in the state or so what is the way forward since we don't have a person?
The way forward is easy. I've said that the ministry is grossly under-resourced. Provide the kind of resources that will enable the ministry to do its work. Everybody on this space said, period. The ministry, look, we acknowledge the ministry may have its lapses, but the largest problem that the ministry has is grossly under-resourced. Go to other countries and see how mining is run. How the Ministry of Minerals in Ghana is funded, and then realize that we're in a joke right now with regards to. Let's start first by resourcing the ministry. By the way, a lot of the minerals that we account for, the revenue is simply from rocks and bitumen. That the real other minerals that should derive money from gold and stuff like that, we're not getting shishi from it, not even from tea. And you should see how Plateau State is devastated on this. So if the ministry is under resourced, if you don't have the money to do the things you need, you can't get them done. So
let me just add to the issue of insecurity. Just last month, I think the Civil Defense Corps recruited over 3,000, trained them for 2 weeks. They're called mine marshals. I don't know if anybody saw that news. Okay. I'll also link this to a story in this center about the Myosine on the result. When Fayemi was there, he gave an order that no longer go on the beginning. And he placed mobile phones. The information we got, we went there, like we gave the shoots at site order. And we cleared the whole community. I have seen them. In the line, they mine. Blue sapphire is small, phantom-sized blue sapphire is millions. So you take blue sapphire, put it in your pocket. The whole that salary is 30,000. You see blue sapphire, what is it? He will do that job with the whole of his heart just because he dropped his own nationality. So we saw all those there. There's a Chinese company that came to Myosina. They came licensed, they came with all their machines to start mining. And we asked, why are these machines packed here? It's already rotting. They left Myosina overnight. So the rumor we had, I wish the rumor we got is that they got something that is far more valuable than all those machines put together. And they've not even started the job that they went there to. So the enumeration of this mining marshal is very important. So poverty issues and all those, there's no how they won't want to protect a Chinese man that will dash in 1 million, dash in. Let's be realistic. So I don't know how this is going to happen. The present economy, present reality of things, they are Nigerians, first of all. The police officers, the civil defense, they are all Nigerians in the first place. So until their enumeration is treated, they can't protect, they will do anything for compromise. So it's something we need to discuss. We need to put more strategy and frameworks together to be able to control. The solid mineral is not like the oil and gas sector. You can't put food in your pocket and move it. We can put one stone in your pocket and remove it, and nothing happens. That's the lacuna.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the top of the hour. We would like to thank you for your patience and for attending this meeting. We will close with the pledge. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength, defend our unity, and uphold our honor and liberty, so shall we be God. Thank you.